We got a 2012 Chevy Malibu here, and customer concern, a couple things. They're just wanting a general maintenance check. Also, the transmission feels like it's acting up or shifting hard. I was just looking on, because it does feel like it's misfiring. There's no misfires on the, oh, there we go. It just popped up, cylinder 2 misfire. You guys just in time. Okay, well that would explain. I was just gonna say it feels like it's misfiring. Yep, see, now it's gone. But we got something to go on now. It's just, the engine's just kind of vibrating a little bit. Sometimes that can be due to bad motor mount or something of that nature. But it feels like it's misfiring, just not picking it up. Let's dig deeper. Engine cover is actually the intake resonator as well. So, you know, you can't get to the coils or injectors without taking it off, which means your MAF sensor is not going to be reading correctly if it's running while you're running tests on those components. Kind of a pain in the ass, but I can go over here to the fuse block and current ramp test those injectors if I need to. I'm going to pop this cover off though and just take a look. I might take a couple plugs out to look at the condition, see if maybe it's just kind of a tune-up type issue. If we're looking at it, ignition or injector or some type of valve train issue. These Ecotech motors like to get carbon buildup on their valves, so we just need to narrow it down. So to take this off, you just got to reach a long screwdriver down in there, flathead, and loosen up that clamp, securing this to the throttle body and the oil cap. There's also a PCV hose on there. It just pops right off, and you got your coils there and your injectors down here. We had a cylinder 2 misfire show up randomly. So front of the engine is always going to be cylinder 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is our suspect right there. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our suspect. So I'm gonna take that coil out and I'm just gonna look at the plug real quick. Okay, so right off the bat I notice, I think you guys can see that there's that black carbon deposits, and then the tip is white. So I don't know if you guys can see up in there. It's dirty, but usually, focus. I don't know if it, well, you kind of. Anyways, electrodes all white. Typically lean condition, running hot, or just poor quality fuel, or the plug's just bad. So I'm going to take another plug out and compare. Okay, so there's cylinder number 1. Looks identical. So just forgot to mention that before I started filming this, I had just got back from a test drive. I noticed that the fuel trims, I mean, they weren't terrible. It looked like maybe a little bit rich. But I don't know, I'm starting to think that this misfire may have something to do with some carbon deposits on those valves. Also, I had mentioned the transmission issue they were concerned about. It's definitely slipping, so something to take into consideration. Not sure if that'll be part of this video. Back on cylinder 2 plug now. I'm just going to clean that up, start the car up, and look at that data again to see if anything changes. Got that new plug in. Engine feels maybe a little smoother, but maybe not. I don't know. Let's see if we got that misfire popping up again. All right, so it looks like fuse number 44 is going to be right in the center of the screen there. All right, so that fuse block labeling in there is kind of confusing. I wasn't sure if fuse 43 and fuse 44. Looks like 44 is for the injectors, and then fuse 43 is for the ignition module. I don't know, follow that pin 6, 7, 8. And well, here's the first coil down here, and then go on to the next diagram. We see 6, 7, 8 there come out, and go down here to the other injectors, so, or coils, sorry. So I think if we want to look at all of them at the same time, we just need to look at that fuse 43, and then we can also look at those injectors on fuse 44. And what I want to do is just current ramp test them and look for any anomalies. Just anything that stands out that would lead me to believe that there's some issue with that cylinder in particular, or the coil or injector. One thing I didn't do is relative compression test yet. I maybe should have, maybe I should before I do this, just because of the suspected carbon deposits. Maybe got a valve sealing issue. Maybe I'll do that real quick. I'll grab the uScope, and actually I'm gonna use the uScope for all of this, just because and unless I need another channel to get those injectors and coils on the same screen there. But let's just get this uScope and try to make quick work of this. Okay, so I'm just gonna be using this low amp clamp, and then this fuse buddy, or whatever you want to call it, for the current ramp test. So I'm definitely going to do that RC test first. I don't want to be chasing injectors and coils if it's an engine mechanical issue. So it's just a quick way to rule that out, and then we don't need to look at that portion of the engine. Anything mechanical, if most likely, if everything looks good, we don't got any low peaks on that RC, then I'm all set up, or almost set up to get those current ramp tests, and we can just get started on that. Got the amp clamp on that negative terminal, got the uScope out, and a lot of clamps will have an arrow for the direction of flow. This one, just whenever I hook it up, the face is going to be facing away from the battery on the negative, and if I were to use the positive cables, it'd be opposite. So hopefully we got clear flood mode on this. Before I do the RC, I'm just gonna test that out, and we do. It sounds like a pretty even cadence. Okay, just move that over a little bit. I don't know, we'll see if that helps. All right, there we go. Get a nice long pattern for us to look at. Okay, now we'll go over here and just zoom in a little bit. Well, that's zoomed in, but it's off the Richter scale there. Okay, that's pretty good, I think. Well, let's just scroll through that now. So you just go to position, press it, and then you can scroll through the pattern and look for any anomalies, like dead humps or anything like you can see that hump looks a little different, but it's, well, and we got another one. 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. Sorry, hard to do with one hand. So I just blew it up a little bit more, and let's scroll through that again. Looking for like a repeatable pattern, so it's like, let's see here. I do see maybe something. Let's see here. 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3. It's pretty close. I don't see any terribly unusual low humps. I do see like maybe kind of one of them that looks low every now and again, but it's not repeatable, and I'm not going to chase mechanical yet. Okay, when using one of these, there's a fuse that goes in the side. You want to put the appropriate fuse in there. Just so happens to be that this number 43 right there is a 15 amp, so I'm going to leave that 15 amp fuse in there and install this tool. There you go, she's out. So this is a high amp clamp. This other one I'm going to use for the current ramp test is a lower amperage clamp. It'll just give us a cleaner pattern. Start her up. All right, so I think we might need the other stove. Problem is, I'm trying to get all 4 on the screen. Did have all 4 until the engine RPM changed on me. See how it's kind of walking around? We gotta change the trigger level. I like to have it like right in the, almost like the middle of the pattern. And I mean, they look good to me. You don't, if you see like a steep incline on any of them, like right there, you can see the ramp goes right up. Okay, so similar, so you can see we got one on there. Okay, so I was reviewing some of that footage I took of the uScope injector patterns, and it's just unusable. The glare and all the scratches on the little plastic protector film made it impossible to see those. So I'm just gonna, today I'm just going to do the same thing I did yesterday and just get the current ramp and injectors, and actually multi-channel scope, I can sync it, so that'll give me a better idea of what exactly is going on, and I'll be able to see the patterns better. You'll be able to see the patterns better, so here we go. Let me show you something here. That's where it goes right under the throttle body. That's the intake resonator, and it's just one piece. So there's the MAF sensor. Look at this gap here. I need to test these injectors, and I can't do that with that on there. So as you can see, it's the same setup. Just got the amp clamp, 20 amps. I don't expect to be pulling any more than that on these current ramp tests. I have this injector lead going down to the number 1 injector, and got these cool little magnets. They're pretty sweet. They hold your leads in place, so you can kind of route them where you want to without them getting tangled. Probably should have done this yesterday to begin with. I just was trying to be quick, and uScope's just easier to set up. I thought I was going to be able to see better, you know, just to get a good idea of what was going on. It was just I couldn't get the settings right on the uScope to zoom in far enough and see all of them at the same time on that little screen. It was just difficult for me to see, and the glare was terrible. So I'm also trying to beat that sun today. I'm out here. The shop's all full up in there, so I can't get it in there at this moment. But yeah, so hopefully we can see this better. All right, so this is what I was trying to show. Here's the current ramp test. The coil being controlled down here. You can see the same thing. Okay guys, so I just zoomed in, and the way this Hantek scope works, it's kind of a pain in the ass. Up here at the top on this 1008C Hantek, you can zoom in, zoom out. There's no like drag and drop window where you can just go to the area you want to see, which is kind of a pain in the ass, but you can hit that drag, and then you know, you can enter whatever number and move it accordingly to the left or to the right. And like if you see here, this is the beginning of the pattern. So if you watch, I'm just scrolling, go the other way, scrolling, and then you'll get to that other current ramp right there. So that'd be for a different cylinder, but I happen to be synced on cylinder 1 just to get a shot. I believe, okay, so that's how that works. Now, if you look right about there on the current ramp, that's the pintle opening. So that's when your injector is going to open, start spraying, and then on the voltage pattern, you can see right there the pintle closing. So that just shows proper operation of that injector, and it's not the clearest shot. This is not the best scope in the world. It's not a Pico. You know, it's but I mean, it does give you a pretty good idea, and it has, for the price point, it has some pretty good capabilities. You can even do some math channels. I haven't messed with that yet, but so that being said, I am going to move that injector primary over to the cylinder number 2 and sync on number 2, so that way we can look, you know, right now we're looking at cylinder 1. That's the current ramp for cylinder 1, so looks good. Let's go over to that suspect cylinder and see what it says. So I got it hooked onto that number 2, but I just wanted to show you I got that trigger set up, so that way this is going to pop up the exact same for cylinder number 2, and I don't have to zoom in, zoom out, try to get a good picture. It's just going to be right there. It'll be easy for us to see. Let's see if I'm right about that. So you just go over here. Now it's running. So there's our sync to number 2. And as you can see up here, I see a slight hump, like, yeah, I mean, it's opening. And then you can see right here it's closing on this yellow trace. And by the way, when you take any type of primary reading, such as an injector or coil or solenoid of any type, like a shift solenoid, you want to use this. This is a 20-to-1 attenuator, or you can get a 10-to-1 attenuator. Just depends on what you want to do in your application. Okay, so as you guys can see, I adjusted it a little bit. I got it on cylinder 2 now. I just put it on 1 millisecond per division so I could see that a little better. This is how you can also put your cursors up and measure the on-off time to see what the pulse width is, and just verify, you know, if you got one that's sticking open for 3 milliseconds instead of 2 milliseconds, well, that's an issue. So let's see here. If I go over to like 1 second per division, so you're gonna see all of those. And then you're gonna go over here to 100 milliseconds per division. And see, the trigger is gonna be different, so you gotta trigger it correctly or it's not gonna show up. Let's go back over here to, where is it? 2 milliseconds per division. No, that's 2 seconds per division. See here, 2 milliseconds per division. And we're not even on the charts there. Oh, there we go. There we go. And so you can see, you can just play with it, and then you can zoom in, zoom out. But you need to see those pintles opening and closing. So these patterns look pretty good to me. I'm not concerned about these injectors anymore. So just real quick, just kind of wanted to go over the purpose of this video and why I decided to film it. I wasn't going to at first. It was just a general maintenance check, you know. She was just, had been a while since she had a tune-up, and then the transmission issue, which that's a separate topic. Long story short, it's fried. It needs a transmission, so that's unfortunate. But as far as the you know, drivability misfire type diagnostic that we were doing today, it was that number 2 misfire, that intermittent misfire that was just kind of popping up when we were watching live data, and it just got my interest piqued. So I thought, hey, you know, let's do an RC. Let's rule out mechanical. Let's do a current ramp test. Let's see if we got an injector sticking, or, you know, coil issue or spark plug issue. And pretty much only issue we found was that spark plug. Well, all 4 of them were like that. They were, it kind of indicates a lean condition or heavy carbon deposits in that cylinder, or, you know, it's burning oil, or I don't know. We could dig deeper into that, but for the purpose of this video, I think the main focus was just the current ramp testing, because that was, you know, just kind of showed my process of doing that. And like I've said before, I'm not by any means an expert on any of this, so scopes are fairly new to me. And if you guys have some advice, or, you know, maybe you saw something I didn't, leave it in the comments below, and I'll be glad to get back to you. And I appreciate the feedback. So overall, you know, I'm just gonna recommend plugs. We didn't find any issues. Everything looked good to me. And anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Like, subscribe, hit that bell, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.